Good morning. You know what? I have 10 gigs of data. I for like $10 or something, so I can have 10 gigs. And I thought, I can make lots of videos, eh? Oh look, it's just saying to people who subscribe. Hello, hi, it's me, Nancy today. I can't look at you because I have to drive. But since I have 10 gigs of data, I thought, I know it's going to be noisy, and you probably can't hear anything I'm saying. But I thought I would just visit with you anyway. So, hello, maybe I should speak louder than the static. Does that help? So, my garden. It's been an amazing garden, but it's nowhere near finished. I have we had in the beginning there was romaine, and then there was leafy lettuce, and then there was radishes, and then I guess peas, and then broccoli. Broccoli was before and after the peas, and it's still happening. The broccoli plants, I grew up thinking that broccoli, grew like that. That's it. I didn't think they grew little tiny offshoots after you picked the big one. Anyway, but I know now. Anyway, so we've been having broccoli bits all summer. And then the beans started. Oh my goodness, those beans. I made trellises for them, but then the trellises were about 6 feet high. But then I pushed them into the ground, and so maybe they weren't quite 6 feet high anymore. Pushed them into the beds. And I planted beans every 6 inches around these, and they grew. I put netting over them so my deer wouldn't eat them. And then I put the trellis on top through the netting. So the beans could grow up through the netting, but the deer couldn't pull the plants out. I thought that was a good idea. Anyway, so then they did, and I had to sort of help them get through. Some of them wanted to go sideways or whatever. But, and that took quite a lot because there were quite a few of these. And at least it was at standing height, so it was easy to work with. And then, next, so the beans grew up 6 feet on those vines, and then they tipped the trellises over. They grew up 6 feet on the trellises. The vines went everywhere. I had to keep trying to make them go on their own and be pretty and all that. And I think that if you cut off the shoots, I've been hearing this, that it improves, you get more beans from it, or at least you get them sooner. Because as long as it's sending out shoots, it's very busy in the vegetative state. And when it's in the next phase of fruit producing, or seed producing is what it is. The plant has a lifespan which starts as a seed and ends with seeds. And so as it grows, it's a plant, and then they have your peas and your beans, and if you eat them like that, you ate them. And if you leave them, then they get riper and riper and riper and riper until they're completely as big as they could possibly get. And they get hard and starchy. Well, they get very, very starchy. And then they get hard. You have to wait for them to get hard. And then when they're completely dry, they're hard, and so that's the end of the cycle. So right now, that's where the beans are. They're at the drying out stage. They've gotten as big as they can get. I lost beans in those heaps. They fell over onto the next one who fell over, onto the next one that fell over, and I ended up with this big mountain of chaos. And then I didn't want the deer to just eat it all now, so I threw another one over top, another netting, And so I wonder if you can hear anything at all. Now I'm going to stop here and you might be able to hear something. You can hear my blinker. My back lights don't work. My brake lights work, but my back lights don't work. So when I was coming home from Ottawa yesterday, I realized that if I put my flashers on, that if I put my flashers on, then the back lights flashed. That's what was flashing, right? Or was it the blinkers? I think it was the back lights. I'm not sure. I have to get out there and look, but I guess I could do that. I could keep falling down. Well, should I turn here? Take the shortcut? Yeah. All right. On my way to church. So I need a zoomy camera and a good internet connection. Actually, that's all I really need is a good internet connection. And I think that they're going to be improving the rural areas, I think. I can't remember what it is. It's a 4G or is it 5G or is it something else altogether? My son was telling me about it. He knows tons of stuff about that. He knows all the news. That's what he does, is read the news. And that's what I do, is read the news. I really like reading the news. Sometimes I watch it, but mostly I read it. The news is very interesting. It's very upsetting, don't you find? I think it must be upsetting for everybody. I know it's upsetting for me. Most upsetting is that the other people don't see what I see. You know those psychology book, they had a picture in it of this woman and she was looking this way, but if you studied it for a few minutes, you saw it was an old man. And I think that's exactly what's been going on now out there in the big world of chaos. I think that there are two completely different pictures that are being painted. Because actually by myself, sitting here in my car at a stop sign or walking around in my town, I have no idea of what's happening anywhere else in the world, right? Except right where I am. Except for what people give me. And everybody has an agenda. Everybody. Anyway. That's just the way it is. But that's not my problem. My problem is I'm going to try to become like Jesus Christ. I'm going to try and develop characteristics like him. Try to bridle my tongue and control my anger. I didn't realize I had anger issues. Anyway, I thought I was pretty laid back. At the odd time, you know how it is. You get pushed to the wall and then you just lash out. And so, this is an interesting time, I find. Learning all these things and what triggers me. What would trigger me to get upset with somebody I don't know? You know? It didn't do anything to me. And yet, everybody's upset with everybody. It's probably just as well that they canceled Thanksgiving this year. There's a big rise. You know, the second wave, we all knew that the first wave was, if we stayed home and didn't go out there and spread it, that the first wave could result in a lot less people dying. And there's more than just dying. There's suffers all of the after effects of having the disease. Anyway, so Thanksgiving, the second wave has come along. The first wave, the objective of the lockdown in the first wave was to slow the spread. That was what it was about. It was to slow the spread so that the hospital system would not be overwhelmed, and therefore it would be able to treat more people and fewer would die. So that's why we did the lockdown. It was for the hospitals. It was so the hospitals would be able to keep up with the situation. But then school started. And of course, once everybody, got tired of the whole thing or went to school, then the second wave started. And so in Canada, Canadians are known for their politeness and courtesy and rule following. Pretty basically rule following people. Basically. It's interesting. The United States, those are not qualities that were ever attributed to me as an American. But me as a Canadian, I am. I've become that person. But as an American, I wasn't. And you know what? Now, I can say this because I am descended from a pirate. I'm descended from Pirate Kenyon way back in, when was that? Was it in 15 something? Well, anyway, that was the beginning, Kenyon Hall in England. Anyway, that was where my ancestors started. One line of them. So their son, or one of the went down a few generations, and then there was, because people couldn't come to the Americas until 1620. So if you're doing genealogy and you wonder why is it 1620 and nothing is ever before that, and they can't, if they lived here and they were here in 1675, but where were they born? Well, where could it be? It was not the United States. The Americas, the Mayflower didn't sail until 1620. That was the first ship bringing people. So anyway, my pirate ancestor was exiled. Actually, he was a privateer, I guess. He was exiled to the Americas. But then I think he became a pirate on the high seas. And there were 700,000 people sent to the United States back in before 17 or 1800. So between 1620 and I think it's 1800, maybe 1750 or something. But in that length of time, there were 700 people exiled to the Americas. And I don't know if they did that to women or just men. But anyway, so our ancestors, how many descendants would there be on the earth today from 700,000 people? I don't know, maybe 300 million? I wonder. Anyway, so now they're finding out about how DNA and genes, we are affected by the things that happen to us. So if you've been abused as a child, then genetically it's in your children and it's in their children. So in the scriptures it says the sins of the fathers will be visited upon the children to the third and fourth generation, and of them that hate me, or something like that. But anyway, so what that is about is that it's in your DNA, and so it takes 4 generations for us to work out, like to go from being abusive parents to abused child who tries to be less abusive and whose children maybe just have a temper, and whose children then maybe have patience, right? So anyway, it works its way through the generations. But But so this whole thing comes back to the idea that Canadians are somehow different than Americans. But what happened is that Canada was mostly settled from England. Mostly. I mean, it was an English place, right? We were under the Queen until just lately. Well, I've been here 40 years. I think when they did the Constitution, then we weren't under the Queen anymore. I hope you can enjoy this video, because if you can tune into the static and enjoy it and let it be the white noise and then focus very well, you might be able to hear what I'm saying. But anyway, so Canadians are not descended from 700,000 criminals, right? Canadians are immigrants that are first from England and then from everywhere else. I mean, all the places that England owned. So there's a lot of Jamaica, a lot of England, and a lot of the British Isles and whatever. Anyway, but now it's everywhere. Everyone from everywhere comes here. We have a lot of room, and we're polite. So we let them come in and have some room, have a job. Anyway, the more the merrier. And we have many cultures. Anyway, whatever. That's all here nor there. What was I going to say about... what do you think about this? I mean, it's probably totally ludicrous. But is there something to it? Is that why Americans are angry about having to wear a mask and saying it's taking away their freedom? I don't look at it that way. I wear a mask so that nobody else will catch anything I've got. And I just love it that people have to stay 6 feet away. Like, you don't have to worry if you got BO, and if you wear a mask, you don't have to pull all those little hairs that keep showing up. You know, like, get into it, guys. And if it's got that little metal piece at the top, if you wear it at the bottom, you can breathe. If you wear it at the top and you pinch it, forget it. No air will ever get in. Anyway, but wearing a mask, it's not because it's protecting me. It's because it's protecting them. Unless I absolutely know that I don't have it. But, you know, I like the social distancing. You can still hold your breath. Like, if you're shedding a virus, this might not really work. I don't know. But if you've got a mask on and you turn your face away, you could probably hug each other. And if you're holding your breath, like when my friend gets near me, I hold my breath. It's just automatic. And that works for me. Wearing a mask, if everybody's wearing, I lip read. I really can't hear, so I have to lip read. So I turn the captions on television, and when people cover their mouths, I have no idea what they're saying, and it could be anything. But if I'm in a lot of noise, if it's really, really noisy, I can. This is amazing. I'm still on here. What am I talking about? So I couldn't hear her. Everything, there was noise, but there was enough sound in with all the noise, just a tiny little bit of sound, threads of sound, but it matched with the lips, and so I could hear it. I had to pay attention. I really had to listen in closely and find that thread of sound. They did. It's so beautiful here. Look at this. Isn't that pretty? I can't show you anymore. I have to drive. That would be distracted driving, and I'm not allowed to do that. Wow, they're so pretty. Maybe I can turn it so you can just see them. There, how's that? Yeah, well, there's nothing right there now, but look, it's coming. Hey, wait, those aren't tall enough. There, how's that? Yes, you're leaning against my blinker. Oh, So I was driving by a field yesterday on the way to Ottawa. It was quite a bit, and it was some kind of a reed. I have no idea. It was very straight. It wasn't Phragmites. Phragmites, I don't like that. It's too sharp. You know, it's pampas grass, that really tall stuff with the big poofy thing on top. I was down at the stream this morning. I've been playing at Sedge Meadow Teepee. So Sedge Meadow Teepee now has a garden box across the front, and then I've sort of boxed in this little yard area too, which kind of is weird because the teepee, maybe I have to take that away. I don't know if I like that or not. I have to ask somebody else. Maybe if it weren't connected to the other one, then it wouldn't mess with the shape. See, this must be hard. If you have to lip read and you can't see my mouth because it's too sunny, and you can't hear because it's too noisy. One day I will start making videos. I will sit in one place and make videos, and they will be perfect. Oh no, they'll be staticky because this is my phone. My new phone, brand new, brand spanking new. It's an iPhone, but it's not the latest one because I never feel any need to get the latest one because I didn't get the one before that or the one before that, so I might as well start there, right? So I always go for the cheapest. What's the cheapest iPhone available? It's a good idea. I should send this back to the company and get a replacement. Here's some more trees. So today is the 11th of October, 2020. Boy, 2020. I've had a lovely year. I've had a wonderful garden. Ah, that's right. This is about my garden. I forgot about that. So I've been building garden beds and filling them up. And I was told that Hugelkulture is green, brown, green, brown, green, brown. So the green is anything alive, and the brown is dirt or manure. What else is there? Anyway, maybe branches are brown and leaves are the green and straw and all that stuff. I don't know. I'll have to look into this more. So I was trying to do that in these beds. Oh, and I've been working on the beds on the plateau. We have so many garden beds, but we didn't plant them all. Next year there'll be more of them that are planted and the soil's improving. Every year it's getting better. We're doing a good job. Anyway, so now in the garden we still have Brussels sprouts, and I don't have any cabbage. I should have grown cabbage. And onions. No, I don't have onions either. And Willem dug up the potatoes, and we're harvesting the collard greens and Swiss chard, and broccoli still keeps coming. I had some really big peppers. You know, if you leave green peppers on the thing, they turn yellow, and then they turn red, I think. You know, whenever there's a sign that tells you what the speed limit is, you may or you may not change your speed to match it. But when there's one of those little digital things that shows you what your speed is as you come along, do you pay attention to it? Like, do you stop or slow down and make sure that the sign isn't upset with you? It's like when we see a police officer. Nobody passes a police officer. Have you ever passed a police officer? Ever? And not gotten a ticket? I mean, maybe you wouldn't get a ticket. But why are you passing? If not, because whatever. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, I guess I'm almost here. Look at that. And I have 9 minutes left before church starts. I don't have any gluten-free bread. And it says in the scriptures that it doesn't matter what you use as long as it's blessed. It doesn't have to be bread or wine. It can be whatever. So I brought some Fritos. I'm going to put a Frito in a little cup. all these people are here. Hey, and there's Willem. I'm gonna park beside his car. I should drive with him, but you know, he might hang out longer, and I might want to go, and I might want to go somewhere not home. But he's gonna want to go home. All right. So now, what do I have to take with me? I'll take my script. I'll take my paper, my note, my journal, and my pen, and I will take you. You can come along just for a few minutes. Then I'll have to turn you off. My car is such a mess. But it's because that's the kind of person I am. Wow, it's quiet out here. Oh, I need a mask. A mask, a mask, a mask. There's one down on one floor. It's not dirty. Looks alright. Blue ones are best. You can smell. Hello, hello. Good morning.